Hey there. So I had an interesting evening last night. Excuse me. Yeah. So, I have downtime right now because of the nature of my job and stuff, and I've just been spending a good amount of time on the internet, mostly on BitChute, for reasons that I've kind of gone into and stuff. Somebody was mentioning that Odyssey is might be a better alternative to BitChute, which I guess I need to kind of kind of like explain myself a little bit, or just kind of correct myself, do a little house cleaning. I haven't really investigated Odyssey, so even though I do talk shit about it. So I would like, if and when I get some time, I want to investigate Odyssey, and if I come to the conclusion, or whatever, that to me it just seems like more of the same, that's okay. It doesn't matter. I don't have any real high expectations either way. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Odyssey is better than BitChute. It wouldn't surprise me at all. It's just how much better is the thing. But I guess that even if it's a little bit better, that is important enough to me, because that's why I use BitChute, is even though it's only a pubic hair better than YouTube or Rumble. Yeah, I mean, it's still better. So I don't know. Do what you want. I mean, I won't judge a person if they prefer YouTube to BitChute, because I use BitChute and it's a shit show. It's a total shit show. So I ain't judging. Or if they prefer Rumble or Odyssey, whatever. I mean, that's kind of been my general stance, is it's all pretty much the same. But I am curious to see if Odyssey might be, a little bit better. We'll see. Anyway, so anyways, I had an interesting evening last night. So I was kind of like surfing around, pretty much. So I'll just kind of talk about the way my approach to using platforms, which I mostly use BitChute and YouTube. YouTube is just mainly for publishing, and then BitChute is where I kind of like check out what's the talk, what's the latest popular trend. Yeah. Anyways, so the way I do it is, like, first I spend a good amount of time like looking around, like what's the deal today. And then once I've pretty much gotten the gist of it, of what the flavor of the day is, or whatever, week, month, etc., and get a pulse on all that, then it's like, that's it, right? And the only channels that I'm subscribed to outside of Gypsy Fox and one or two others, I'm only really exclusively subscribed to entertainment channels that post movies, because I like art. I like the art of film, and I don't want to pay for it. So then I'll scour through BitChute to find, because they're kind of hard to find, like the channels that post movies and stuff like that. There used to be a lot more of them on BitChute. Like I said, the culling, whatever. So anyways, there used to be a lot easier, more easily accessible free movies and all kinds of shit on BitChute. And I was never really into subscribing to those channels. I would just, sometimes, maybe every once in a while. But now, and almost 90% of all the channels that I'm subscribed to exclusively are only like channels that post movies. And that's it. That's my biggest use for BitChute, is I can watch free movies there. so anyway, so I was kind of like trying to find some movie channels, and they're kind of hard to find. And so then and this is another method that I use, is if I can't really find any new or any undiscovered BitChute channels that are post movies, then I go to the Critical Drinker, because the Critical Drinker is the most reliable movie critic. And he's actually, for my taste in movies, he's like on point. He's the most reliable for my taste of movies. Like, if he says a movie sucks, I'm pretty 90% chance I wouldn't like it. If he says the movie's good, 80 to 90% chance that I'll like it. So I go to Critical Drinker, and he's been like fucking not doing nothing for a week or two, and so I'm like, whatever. And so then I go to Chris Stuckman, which I don't like Chris Stuckman, but he's like pretty much one of the only other reliable movie critics that I'm aware of on YouTube. I'm pretty picky about it, and Stuckman is a total sellout. So when I go there, I understand he's a sellout. I can't trust his commentary. But so it's totally hit or miss with Chris Stuckman. Nonetheless, my options are few. So I went to Chris Stuckman, and somehow, so in the algorithm, it showed this other guy that I'd never seen before, and it was like the top 10 best horror movies of 2024. And so I was already bored. I got nothing to lose, so I just clicked on it, and it was like really good. And the guy's not a sellout. I actually subscribed to him. I can't remember his name. It's the first time I ever seen him. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, he's good. His shit's good. Because I was like looking at the movies he was saying were the top 10 ones, and I could tell he was being. You know how you can kind of tell when a person's being more genuine as opposed to being a grifty shill or whatever. Well, he seemed kind of genuine. So, and then he was like, some of the movies he was talking about, I was like, whoa, that actually sounds good. And then I realized there was like 2 of the movies that were in the top 3 of his 10 movie countdown that are on these channels I'm subscribed to on BitChute. But I didn't really think I didn't really know anything about the movies. They came out in 2024 though. And then he's telling me like, so one of the 2 that I think I like, yes, that I do like the best, which was his number 1 pick for 2024. It's called The Substance with Demi Moore and Dennis Quaid. Like the old school shit, these washed up actors. I love it when washed up actors redeem themselves. It's like the coolest thing. And I'm an X generation, so I grew up watching Demi Moore and Dennis Quaid and watched them kind of fade into obscurity. And oh my gosh, like Demi Moore completely redeems herself on all levels in this movie. So I am a huge fan of this movie. Okay, this movie is called The Substance. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that they're still putting out quality horror movies in 2024. Like it's become such an obscure art form. I've pretty much given up on it, and I just watch movies from the 80s and shit. Well, dude, you don't listen to people when they're telling you that everything is this, and like these black-pilled people. And so it took me some investigating, and then I realized like this movie looks like it might be good. I'm willing to watch it. So I watched it last night, and holy shit! So it's horror. So if you're not into the genre of horror, you're not gonna like this movie. I mean, dude, there's like tons of great horror movies, though. I mean, I guess there's just people that don't like horror, which I've never understood. Like, let me just look at some movies that I have right in front of me that are horror, that are like really quality movies. Okay, The Entity. Oh my, it's based on a true story about a woman who gets raped by fucking invisible demons, and it's based on a true story. And that movie I've never been more scared in my entire life watching a movie than watching the movie The Entity. That shit. Watch that movie alone, really late at night, in the dark, by yourself. I guarantee you, you will get scared. Guaranteed. I mean, so I'm trying to, like, Videodrome by, what's his name? Who's the director of Videodrome? Oh, Cronenberg. Well, that's what, so this movie, Cronenberg, Videodrome. I mean, come on, how can people not like this shit? I don't understand. This movie is very Cronenberg-esque. Like, it's very, very much in that vein. Look at, even the movie It that came out, Stephen King's It that came out in, what was that, 2017? Fucking, that's a good movie, dude. Like, so, and that's horror, the Alien collection, sci-fi horror, They Live, that's sci-fi horror. I mean, I don't understand why people don't like horror. I mean, there's different subgenres of horror, and this subgenre of horror is called I think it's called body violence or something. But anyways, this genre of horror is more it's like really disturbing. But it's done very tastefully. So anyway, so I watched this movie and I was just like, what in the fuck? This movie, The Substance. I mean, it is one of the best fucking horror movies I think I've ever seen. Like, it is up there with the best fucking horror movies of all time. It is amazing. And Demi Moore, like, holy shit, dude. Like, I mean, this chick is ballsy in this movie. This is a very controversial film, too. And it doesn't pander to politics either way, really. And if anything, it does mock, feminism and stuff. Like, oh my God, dude, like this movie. So, and Dennis Quaid is another one. Like, he does an amazing job. And like I said, it's really cool to watch these kind of obscure actors that were big in the 80s and stuff, like, redeem themselves. It's always a great thing. Like, they're talented actors. Demi Moore she's just such a good actor in this movie, and she doesn't hold back in her character. I mean, she just lets it all hang out, and it's like, wow. So anyways, really fucking great movie. And so I just want to let you guys know, like, that, and it's on BitChute. If any of you are interested, put a comment and I'll send you the link. But if you're not into disturbing movies, like let me see what I have for disturbing movies. Well, I mean, like, Videodrome is pretty disturbing. I mean, Basket Case is not really that disturbing. Oh, it's like dude, this movie, the Substance, is very Basket Case. It's like Basket Case on fucking steroids, Basket Case on Breaking Bad blue meth or something, And it's also, if you're into the whole adrenochrome thing, you need to watch. If you're into the whole adrenochrome thing, and how movies are predictive programming, or there's truth hidden in movies. This movie, The Substance, is like, there is implied truth about adrenochrome it's basically what it's about, adrenochrome. And the Holly weirdos with their addiction to adrenochrome and shit. That's what the whole thing's about, and it's very disturbing. So, like, let me see. What do I have? The Holy Mountain by Jaredowski. I mean, that's a disturbing movie, I guess. Even RoboCop. Like, RoboCop, the original movie RoboCop, I saw it in the theater when it came out in theaters before they edited the movie. When the RoboCop first came out in theaters, they didn't edit it. And it was like ultra violent. It was like ultra violent. And then people started they started getting negative responses because people were complaining there's too much violence in it, and so then they edited the film RoboCop. But I saw the unedited version in the theater. Fucking crazy. But the unedited version of RoboCop is fairly disturbing. The Entity, about this woman, is based on a true story about a woman getting raped by invisible demons. I mean, these are disturbing things. This is kind of just disturbing. I've got a decent amount of disturbing movies. Even Smile was fairly disturbing. I mean, look at the movie Boogie Nights. That movie wasn't even a horror, and it was pretty disturbing. There's drama movies that are really disturbing, But anyway, so it's more of a disturbing kind of film. So if you are put off by disturbing films because you're already disturbed enough by everything, then it may not be for you. We live in a disturbing reality, especially when you're talking about adrenochrome and P. Diddy and Epstein and all this other totally insane shit going on, conspiracy. When you look at the reality we live in, it's disturbing. So to me, it's kind of like watching a movie like that isn't, to me, necessarily a bad thing, because if we already live in an extremely disturbing world, why would I shelter myself from that instead of, maybe it would be better to just try to embrace and accept it for what it is. And so anyways, this is a disturbing ass movie. So I don't want to recommend it to people who aren't into disturbing movies. But if you like going down the adrenochrome rabbit hole, which is really disturbing, you might really want to watch this movie called The Substance, because it's art imitating life, and the whole thing is basically about a failed washed up actor's discovery of an addiction to adrenochrome and what happens to her as a result. It's fucking a great movie, dude. So anyways, I just wanted to let you guys know in case anybody is unaware of that movie. It's called The Substance, and I just discovered it last night and watched it and was like, oh my god! I'm excited. It's definitely something to celebrate if you're a fan of horror films, because they're more and more rare. Good fucking horror movies are becoming a lot harder to find. I gave up. I had already given up, and I just happened to be so bored and come across this movie. I thought, that sounds kind of interesting. And when I watched it, I was like, wow! So just a heads up.